we are going to learn how to sign in with Google inside Firebase. Now, I have been asked for this tutorial quite a lot of times. Now, here it is. If you want to learn SwiftUI in 4 weeks, go ahead and check out SwiftUI Camp. The link for the 50% off is down in the description. We're going to talk about this later on. So today we are going to sign in with Google and Firebase. I have created this starter project so I don't have to type out all of the skeleton SwiftUI stuff. I have created a brand new Xcode project, created an auth controller, which basically is an observable. We have this, so we may have access to the first key window that is for us to present the sign-in page for Google. And then we have this auth state, which is undefined by default, authenticated or non-authenticated. We are going to switch through these. When we are listening to the authentication state, we are going to add some code over here, and then we're going to sign in and sign out. And it all starts with the main view. This auth controller is as an environment on the main view. And on main view, we are just switching through the auth state and either showing a progress view, the content, or the auth view. Now the content view, it's pretty straightforward. We have just basically a sign out button right over here, which, we need to be able to sign out also, which is quite easy to do. We are going to add that code in this tutorial also. And then on the auth view, we are going to add a button right over here that is going to be the Google sign in button, and it's going to be linked to this function. Basically, it's just the skeleton for our demo project, so I can show you how you can add Google sign in together with Firebase. So let's just go ahead and create a Firebase project. I believe this is something that I should add into this tutorial. If you done this already, then make sure that you just skip this part all the way to the coding. But I would rather advise you to just go through the steps a little bit, maybe on 2x speed, because there are quite a few very important steps to consider. So let's go to console on Firebase. Let's create a new project. Let's add a project. I just copy and pasted my bundle identifier. So I'm just going to remove all of this junk and then click continue right over there. I don't need to enable Google Analytics for this tutorial, so I'm just going to uncheck that. And while it's preparing, let me just talk a little bit about Firebase, SwiftUI Camp. So it's going to start in July, like nearly in a month, and you will be able to take your SwiftUI knowledge from knowing nothing basically to an advanced level. It's just Zoom meetings live, and there are 4 weeks, so 4 of these sessions, 2 hours each, 1.5 hour me teaching you, and then half an hour Q&A. And basically on the first week, we're going to talk about layout and data handling, the most important parts of SwiftUI. We're going to also cover MVVM, MVC, architectures, and then navigation on week 2, everything you need to know about navigation. In my personal opinion, navigation is the second most important thing to know about SwiftUI. And then Swift data, CRUD operations, dynamic sorting and filtering, migration, relationship, connecting to iCloud. So all of the good stuff that comes with Swift data. And then the 4th week is basically your questions. Whatever you need answered or didn't understand, or you just want to learn a little bit more about, SwiftUI, then go ahead and we are going to cover all of those. That's why, I have a limit on these cohorts, 10 people at most, so I can just address all of your questions. No prior SwiftUI knowledge required. So and take a look at all of the testimonials, and there is a link down in the description for a 50% off for the first 5 students. Hopefully this has been added. Yes, let's continue. And now I can just create my project right over here, register the app, and next we will download the config file. Let's download that, open up Xcode, and then just simply drag and drop it onto the root folder of your project. Make sure that it's on the target, of course. If you are like me, you're having a lot of info plist file downloaded, make sure that it's exactly Google service info plist file, like you see it right over there. Okay, so let's see what's next. Next, we want to add the iOS SDK. Yes, let's go into the project and then package dependencies. Click on the plus right over here and then just paste it in there. Just wait for that. 10.27.0 current version, just so you know. Okay. And we are going to also add another dependency, and that is from Google's, the Google sign-in iOS. Let's just search for that. So let's just go for Google sign-in iOS. It should be this one, I believe. No, yeah, that's the documentation. Let's just add GitHub right over there. There we go. Okay, so yeah, it is this one. So let's just add also that while we are here. Let's just copy that out. Yeah, what packages do we need from Firebase? Well, we are going to need authentication in this part. So there we go. Go ahead and check out the link for the whole playlist in the description if you want to learn about other services from Firebase. Okay, so currently we're just having auth. Let's just add the sign-in. Yes, and let's add that package from Google, of course, Google sign-in iOS. And next we are going to, yeah, this is kind of an old library. It needs actually Objective-C. So we want to add that Objective-C flag as an other linker flag. So select your target, build settings, and under the filter, type out other link or flags. It's this one. And right over here, double click on plus, and then add dash OBJ with capital O, like objective, and C, capital C. So that's what you want to add in there. Other linker flags, Objective-C. Okay, next, let's go back to Firebase. And let's continue. Let's click on next. Yeah, let's create our initialization code. I'm just going to create an app delegate file. I'll copy that out. And then let's create a new file over there. Swift file next, app delegate. Oh, sorry, I did not copy that out. Let me do that again. Copy and then paste it in there. Great. Okay, and now let's copy out all of this for the app delegate. We're going to add some other stuff to the app delegate also, but for now this is just for Firebase. And then let's add this to the app file. So yeah, maybe right over there. Okay, and let's click on next and continue to console. Okay, so next we want to enable Google sign-in. So go under the build and then select authentication. And yeah, because this is the first one, we want to click on get started. And then we're going to select a sign-in provider. Now, Google is the one that we want to have right over here. Let's click enable over there. Public facing project name, you may change this. I will just leave it just like this. That's fine. And support email for project. Now this is really important. This cannot be changed. So just go and select, well, I'm just going to use the usual. And let's click on save right over there. Now, this will regenerate basically the Google service info plist file. So it will just ask you, okay, here's the new info plist. Do you want to download it? Yes, let's download it. Or if you have missed this, I will show you how where you can download it again. For now, let me just remove this. Let's move to trash. And then again, I'm just going to drag and drop it right over here. Let's click on finish. And rename it. There we go. Now let's click on done, and let's say you just forgot to download it. It can be found under the project settings. If you just scroll down, you will see that here is you can access the Google Service Info Plist file. Okay, so we have added that. Now you see that we are, yeah, if you noticed on the previous Google Service Info Plist file, there is this reserved client ID. It comes with com.google user content, and it's really, really long. Now we want to set it up as a URL scheme. So let's copy that out and then go to your target, general, and just scroll down, well, under, yeah, not general, signing in capabilities. And then, oh, is it signing in capabilities? It should be somewhere under the info. Yes, it's under the info. Yeah, finally found it. So URL types. Let's click on plus right over here. And you don't have to add anything, right, or identifier, all of that stuff. You want to paste that URL scheme right over there. Hit return. Basically, that's it. You don't have to change anything else. Okay, so now it's time to add some other code, like initialization code for, well, basically it's not initialization, it's just making sure that we're coming back to our application when we sign in with Google, you know, that sheet that it's going to be popped up. And for that, under the app delegate file, you know, this is the UI application delegate, we want to intersect the application open URL with options. So let's start out application and then open, I believe, and this should be it. Yes. App open URL with options, and this should return a key, but a boolean. Basically, we are going to return right over here. Of course, we need to first import Google sign in. So let's import Google sign in. There we go. And then we will have access to this JID sign in. Okay, and then you just go shared instance dot and handle URL that you are going to get. So URL. Okay. So that's everything that you need to set up in the application and delegate. Great. Now let's talk about the auth view. How are we going to, let's set auth view right over here. So in the auth view, we are going to have a button right over here, which will trigger this sign in from the auth controller. We're going to sign in, but for now, let's use, and we have to actually use the Google provided buttons. It's like with sign in with Apple, you have to use their own buttons. So let's import the necessary stuff. First of all, let me just import Firebase core, and then let's import the Google stuff. So import Google sign in, and we also going to need a Google sign in Swift, because this is a Swift version. You know, we're working in Swift, and I believe we do need also Firebase auth. We will see. Basically, these two are really, really necessary. Okay. So now let's add the button. So that will be our Google sign-in button. And you see that we have a lot of options right over here. You could create the view model in an action. I prefer, on the view model, you basically need to set up the scheme, style, and state. So let's just use this one. If you are omitting the scheme, style, and state, it will just use the default one. But let's just see how some custom scheme, style, and state would look like. So let's hit option. So we select everything. And then on the scheme, you see we have a dark and light mode. Well, let's just use dark. On the style, there is icon, standard, and white. Well, let's just use the standard. So it's just going to be a simple button. And on the state, there is basically just normal. You may switch between these disabled and normal, but yeah, let's just use a normal right over here. And on the action, of course, the sign in function that I added right over here. And as I see it, yes, we don't actually need all of this. The Firebase functionality is in the auth controller sign in. Okay. So let's add some stuff right over here in the auth control. Basically, the views are done. Now we need to add the actual functionality. So first of all, let's import some stuff. So yeah, right over here, we are going to import Firebase core and then Firebase auth. Let's just import that, import Firebase auth. And then let's import the Google sign-in framework. Okay, so now First of all, I don't know if you have noticed, but on the main, when this view appears, well, actually the main view appears, we are starting listening to the auth state. And basically, that's right over here. Yeah, if you are interested in how all of this works, we're just adding an add state. Go ahead and check out again the link in the description. It's the first video about it explains everything how authentication works with Firebase. So for now, it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to add an auth listener. So add state the change listener. And we're going to get back an auth. Yeah, we don't care about that. And a user. So short of it is that if we have a user, if it's not nil, then we're authenticated. If it's nil, then we are not authenticated. So we're just going to say, just for the simple sake of it, auth state. It's a little bit more nuanced than that. Go ahead and check out the link in the description for the whole playlist. But for this short tutorial, it's really enough. So if the user is not equals nil. So if it's not nil, question mark, we are authenticated, and otherwise we are not authenticated. I really like this ternary operator. Okay, so next up, let's sign out, because that's quite easy to do. It's a throwing function, as you can see. So throws, sorry, not throw, try. We're going to try auth dot sign out. There we go. And it's as simple as that. Remember, that's tied to our content views button. And finally, we are going to get to the magic sauce. All of this is basically preparing for the code that we are going to write over here. Let's take a deep breath and let's get into it. So first of all, you need to understand that this is not going to be presented as a sheet on SwiftUI. We need to kind of go down into UIKit and grab the key window in order to the Google sign-in framework to present it as a sheet, a UIKit sheet, basically. So that's why we have this key window right over here, first key window on the UI application. We want to make sure that we have a root view controller. So yeah, let's just do that. Guard let root view controller equals UI application dot shared, and now we have this first key window available. This is optional. If we add a dot and then we just have root view controller, you see the question mark has been automatically added over there. So if we have this view controller, great. Otherwise, let's just return. Let's just add return right over there. Okay, so yeah, that's first. Next, we want to make sure that we have a client ID. Now, the client ID will be initiated from, we will grab it basically from the Firebase app. Remember we added right over here and we added this reserved client ID. Well, there is this client ID also, which we are going to grab. Now, we're not going to grab it from the info plist file. There's a better way of, an easier way of doing this. So again, we are going to guard let against it. Client ID equals Firebase app. And then options. Again, this is an optional, the app. That's why we need the guard. And then dot client ID. If we have that client ID on the Google Service Info plist file and we configured the Firebase, on the app delegate, then this should be available. Okay. Else we want to return. Okay. So now that we got our client ID, we want to create the configuration. So let configuration. We are going to use this configuration in just a second. It is a GID configuration with a client ID. Let me just provide that client ID. And now we are going to set this configuration to the sign-in. So GID sign-in dot shared instance dot configuration equals the configuration that we have set up. Okay, so basically now we have our sign in prepared. Now it's time to actually sign in. So, and that will give us a result that we are going to use to sign in with Firebase. So let result, that is what we are going to get back. Try, await, come on, try, not double trees, just a simple T. One thing, GID sign, come on, sign in, dot, shared instance, and then we have this sign in, and we are going to use the one with the presenting. You see, that's a UI view controller, and that is the root view controller that we are going to use. Remember in UI kit, this is kind of, it has to work with a lot of stuff. So this is how you do it in SwiftUI. That's why we have this tutorial. Okay, so now that we are going to get back, of course, if it fails, we are trying. If it fails, it's just going to throw an error, which you should handle, of course, on the view. But if it succeeds, then we need to basically create a credential for Firebase, and that needs two stuff: an ID token and an access token. So let's grab that. A guard, let ID token equals, from the result, we have a user, and then on the user, we should have an ID token. There it is. And then that ID token will have a token string. We actually need that string value, else return. Okay, we return. Now, the other one is the access token. This is not optional, so let access token equals a result dot user dot access token. There we go. And now we can create the credential that we are going to use to sign into Firebase. So let credential, there we go, equals Google auth provider. Yeah, that comes from Firebase right now. Google auth provider dot credential. You can see with the ID token and access token, both of them are strings. So ID token and then access token. Great. Now that we got this credential, finally we access token. Let me just see what's going on here. Oh, yes, we want to grab the string, so token string right over here. That should go away. Great. So now we finally can sign into Firebase. We are already signed into Google. Now we are going to use those credentials to sign into Firebase. So try await auth.auth.sign in, and we are going to use the one with the credential. It's this one, and auth credential, that is what we are created. The Google auth provider creates a credential of auth credential, and then we just pass that along credential, and that's it. It should be working as expected. Now, finally, we are going to test it. I know it's been long, but I wanted to make sure that you fully understand everything right over here. Yeah, now we're just going to sign in. And we're going to double check. Hopefully, I did not mistype anything. And it's just going to work right off the bat. Okay, so there we go. We have the sign in button. Let's click on it. Let's continue. Yeah, and I might be, yeah, let's just add. Yeah, the first time that you sign in, you have to add your email and all of that stuff. After that, it will recognize you. So now I have to scan this with my phone. That's fine. Let's just do this. Okay, it's recognizing it, connecting. Let's just wait for this. Make sure both devices are connected to the internet and have Bluetooth turned on. Well, maybe this first initial sign in. Well, let's just see. Oh, yeah, let's try another way. Because, yeah, this is the simulator. That's fine. So enter your password. Yeah, that's the easier one. So let's click on next. No. Did I mistype my password? There we go. Not now. And then, yeah, yes on a phone or tablet. Yeah, you have to go through all of these stuff. And this is great, by the way, because when a user signs in, yeah, and it just popped up right over here, as you can see. And no, yeah. And then, yes, it's me. There we go. And just letting me in, and then let's continue. And you, of course, saw that there was the project name, that long. Of course, you might want to swap that. Let's just see if we have anybody in the authentication bar. There we go. We have that. Really, really nice. Now, let's sign out. And you can see it's just working. Let me just build and run. We should be stayed sign out for now. And then I will sign in again. Let's click on right over here. Let's continue. And now it should recognize me, of course. And then let's select my profile, scroll down and continue. And we are in. Now, let me just stop this so you can see that it persists the authentication. Of course it does. There we go. It's really, really nice. Now, if you like this type of tutorials and you want to learn more about SwiftUI from novice to an advanced level, go ahead and check out. The link is down in the description for a 50% off for SwiftUI camp. You can master SwiftUI in 4 weeks. We are going to learn about layout, data handling, navigation, Swift data, and of course, whatever you like to know more about SwiftUI. These cohort-based sessions are really, really hands-on. Go ahead and check out the link in the description. First 5 students will get 50% off, and I will see you in the next one.